Hi, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, and it's 8:45 a.m. here in Chicago. So I heard about Tank and Jake Paul being canceled, and I didn't hear anything about what Tank had to say. So this video is just about pretty much my thoughts on Jake Paul and what he had to say. Okay, well, first of all, and you know I'm never gonna cap for Tank or anything. I'm just speaking my mind, whether it ends up being pro-Tank or, anti-Tank. I'm just speaking my mind. First of all, we've never known Tank not to prepare for a fight, right? We've never known Tank not to prepare for a fight. Tank comes into his fights very much prepared. So the fact that Jake Paul, made that, was it a tweet or whatever, where he blasted Tank, saying that Tank is unprofessional and this, that, and the other. Jake Paul, you're not a real boxer. In Tank's mind, obviously, that was not a real fight. You understand? You do understand you're not Lamont Roach. You do understand you're not Shakur Stevenson. You do understand you're not even a Keyshawn Davis, as much as he be acting up. You're none of those dudes. So Tank is not going to be taking this fight seriously because you are not a real boxer. All right? First and foremost. Another thing, I know they get to, and I'm not saying that the allegations aren't serious with him, allegedly putting his hands on a woman. But I will say this. If nothing has been confirmed to be absolutely true, and right now everything is under investigation or whatever, I don't believe that they would cancel a fight just based on leaked allegations or whatever. That fight wasn't doing well anyway. That fight was not selling, as it should not, because it ain't a real fight. So what better excuse to back out than that he just put his hands on somebody? I think that this was a perfect opportunity for them to call it quits because that fight was not selling. And as far as Jake Paul saying, pretty much this piece of shit human beings don't fall for the way he dresses or whatever he was saying. I don't know. He sounded like a fan turned hater to me. He sounded like a fan turned hater. I think maybe even though Tank didn't go hard enough at Jake Paul the way we wanted him to, the way Tank be going hard at everybody else, I think Jake Paul still felt like Tank treated him like he was a joke. I do. I think Jake Paul still felt like Tank treated him like he was a big-ass walking exhibition. That's what I think. And it pisses Jake Paul off. That's what pisses him off. Because remember how much Jake Paul hated Claressa Shields because she basically said, I would never lower my accomplishments to the likes of Jake Paul. He's not a real fighter, And you see how Jake Paul did not like that at all. Now we got Tank, and they're saying that he was unprofessional. He wasn't showing up when he should have. He wasn't this. Because, again, Tank doesn't have that problem with other fighters. Because they're fighters. They're real boxers. Jake Paul is a joke. And there must have been things here and there where Tank showed him with his actions that he sees him as a joke. That's really why Jake Paul can't stand Tank. And then again, as far as all of that going in on Tank's persona and, Tank's appeal to the crowds, that's all jealousy in my opinion. I'm not saying that that is something to be jealous of, but Jake Paul is jealous of it, you know. I'm glad the fight got canceled because I don't like Jake Paul. I don't like him at all. I don't like fake boxers. I don't like any fake boxer, not just Jake Paul. I don't even like Chad Ochocinco always trying to challenge real boxers. I don't know. It's a cringe thing for me. It's like, go get a life. Stop trying to get up under boxers and pretend you're one of them. You know, Jake Paul, you're not a real boxer. Like, stick to your exhibitions. And your exhibition with Tank, actually that was going to be a real fight, right? That's another reason why he's mad. Because even though he's not a real fighter, he's so much bigger than Tank. He's so much bigger than Tank that it's possible he could have gotten a win. It's possible because of his size. Like, does a giant have to be a boxer to beat someone who's 135 pounds? No, you know. So he wanted that on his record so bad. He wanted that on his record so bad that he officially beat Gervonta Tank Davis. It wasn't an exhibition. He really beat him. He doesn't even mind a bullshit resume. You know, I don't know. That guy's full of shit. And I'm glad, even if Tank wasn't in wrong, I'm glad that fight got canceled on his ass. And there's a lot of hateration with him too, versus Tank. I'm considering that whole situation with Tank and the woman. I'm not even considering that. To me, that's a totally separate issue. I'm talking about Jake Paul versus Tank. Whatever had to make it come to an end, I'm glad it came to an end. I'm glad it came to an end. So, na boo boo. You thought you was gonna get a win against Tank Davis on your resume as a fake ass boxer. Get out of here. But that's all. Have a good day, everyone.